Hey folks, welcome back to Fresh Produce. I'm Pete from BTI. Today we've got a special guest, Jason Schippers from 7IDP. Welcome, Jason. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah. So Jason's just visiting the BTI facility today. We thought I'd do a quick video talking about some of the unique products in the 7IDP line and a couple of maybe things that go under the radar. I thought we'd kind of have a little discussion about. So thanks for coming on. Let's just get right into it. The Project 23 helmets are your flagship full face. Yep. And they've got a DH certification, but what was like the idea when you were building these helmets originally?
Somewhat of a new concept as far as we wanted to do an Enduro helmet, but we wanted to make sure we were leaning more towards the side of safety over lightweight. We still want to ventilate it. You know, they're out there a long day. In doing so, after doing some research and speaking to riders, and we decided to go with a hard shell helmet instead of an in-mold helmet like your traditional trail cross-country style helmet. It gives you a stronger platform for the helmet itself. It also gives you more energy absorption. The shell itself will absorb energy, where on an in-mold helmet with that thin shell, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, those are just meant to kind of hold the foam in, but not really do a lot of the protection on the outside.
Yeah, it's almost more of a looks thing, really. Yeah. You know, there was the old school style helmets where it was just the EPS and not any kind of shell on it.
So here's an example, a different 7IDP helmet aimed at more cross-country or trail rider that does have that more in-mold.
And you know, the benefits of an in-mold helmet is they are lighter.
Yeah.
So that's why the majority of that style helmet is an in-mold. But you are going to get more protection from a hard shell helmet. Okay. So in doing this, we have 3 different versions of the Project 23. We have an ABS shell, a fiberglass shell, and a carbon shell. Our ABS shell is the lightest hard shell full face helmet on the market right now.
Wow.
So it's nice and lightweight. It is a little bit heavier than some of the in-mold full faces that are on the market. But you still get really good breathability. And again, the idea was protection.
Yeah.
When you're doing an Enduro race and you've got several stages, even if you don't hurt yourself, you have that chance of breaking a helmet early on in the stages, and you can't necessarily complete the race, where this is something that'll keep you protected and keep you going through the day of stages.
With that durability, yeah. So that's definitely an important point on the racer aspect of it, but I think like the safety aspect is really important too. So one thing that really strikes me about this helmet is it doesn't look like one of those super open like trail or enduro style full face. It almost has a look of a traditional downhill helmet, but you actually do get a ton of ventilation. It's just kind of hidden in there in a unique way. So I think that's cool with both around the mouth. There's also some kind of hidden ventilation up here near the visor. And then if you look at the helmet from the top, you can see more of the vents up on top. So they're just kind of tucked away in different spots that don't make it look like it so much.
That's what the venting was planned out, you know, to get the maximum breathability out of it. The mouthpiece is actually removable too, so you can remove that to get a little bit more airflow.
Gotcha.
Get access for a hydration tube. And with it being well vented and lightweight for a hard shell helmet, it is downhill safe. It meets the downhill standards, but beyond that, just having a hard shell, it's made to take those types of impacts. So we just had Joe Smith finish second in the Red Bull Hardline wearing the Project 23 Carbon.
Cool. Well, congrats to Joe. Nice little advertising piece there. Let's move on to the inside of these helmets too, because some of the technology here is kind of hidden inside. First, to mention this little blue material on the inside. Can you talk about that and where that actually fits in?
Yeah. Yep. So again, when we were designing this helmet, the priority was on safety, and it's another layer of energy absorption. So it's like a soft, almost rubber type feeling material. So when the energy is coming through and it's the closest to your head, which the energy is going to be dissipated at that point.
Right, so you have super hard shell, you have the EPS on the inside that's absorbing energy at a little different rate, and then you've got that blue stuff that's kind of taking care of maybe the lower energy that won't break an EPS or...
Yeah, so it's lower energy in harder hits, or even in a slower hit, that's going to be kind of the first line of defense in that type of hit. So, and we have a waffle type pattern to it. Helmets are going to slip on your head when you crash, but the waffle type pattern helps it fold over a little bit for oblique angles and give you more protection.
Cool. So speaking of, I know like visors are a really big deal in terms of angular impact, like they could tweak your neck or really just change the way that your head is hitting the ground. These are super easy to pop off, like they'll meant to break in the case of a crash, right?
Yep. So they're made to remove from the shell of the helmet to fold away, so when it's not twisting your neck and creating neck injuries. And it's really easy. You can pop it right back on.
And I know that's not by any means unique. Tons of helmets feature that, but what struck me about these helmets is just how positive the adjustment system is. You can really feel, and it's like a solid clunk. It doesn't feel like just plastic deforming or anything that. And then I also noticed as we pop that visor off, there's actually a metal circle where it's fitting in. So tons of durability there. If you pop this off a few times, you're not damaging that hole. It can be just slid right back on each time. So pretty unique and pretty cool. And there's a good view of all that additional ventilation like underneath the visor.
Yeah, that's what we did, that aluminum reinforcement. Again, to give durability. It's a lot cheaper to replace a visor. You don't want to replace your helmet.
Hey, speaking of, you mentioned to me you have a crash replacement policy. Can you talk to us about that and how that maybe can be used at the shop level and for consumers as well? Yeah,
so something unique to us, we actually offer a crash replacement program on all of our products. That's from our helmets to our knee pads, elbow pads, all the way to our gloves. Basically what that is, if a consumer crashes, one, we want to make sure they're safe. So we always want to make sure that their helmet gets replaced and there's no damage that they may not see. We study the damaged helmets to help us in further development. So that's another good thing for us too, and make sure that the helmet did what we're expecting it to do.
Oh, cool. So you're getting them back and like learning something.
On the helmets, we always get the helmets back because we want to learn from them. There's little wear and tear things too that we'll take care of under the crash replacement.
Nice.
And if a customer comes into a shop and wants to do a crash replacement, we work with the shops directly then. Or if a customer reaches out to us directly, we can help them out that way too.
I think that's a really nice like peace of mind, both for a consumer and at the shop level, just knowing that you can sell the product with confidence that it's going to last, a long time and the customer will be happy with it. So pretty cool selling point, and I think not a lot of people know that about 790Ps.
Yeah, I think another thing, just talking about the pads real quick too, I think a lot of people don't really realize too that we do more CE level 2 pads than any other brand in the world right now.
Oh, cool. So even though these pads are like soft, flexible, they're kind of a superior level of protection at the same time.
Yeah.
Does that include this transition pad? Is that
So in the transition, this is a little bit different because it's a knee and shin. So this is actually a CE level 2 component in the knee, but it goes off of the overall when it's a knee shin combo.
Gotcha.
The CE is pretty interesting. So
that's just like a standards type discussion.
Yeah.
So the important part where you're really going to take a hard impact is CE level 2. Up here, and then you're getting lighter, less protective down the shin. Where you're going to mostly get a rock or pedal strike, not a full crash force right on the shin. So
Yep. So and that's that the shin area too. It does a little bit better with impacts.
I also notice all the pads have some sort of little protection on the side. Like I can tell you ride in this stuff because you know how important that is. Even like a more pedally pad, you do need some protection just for clipping the frame and a weird, body movement on the bike or something like that. Just about all your pads have some of that, so pretty cool.
The majority of them do have that side protection, but there's a few lighter ones for the people that want the absolute lightest, thinnest.
I also want to just quickly talk about this Project knee pad. I think it's another unique one because it does have a little bit of a shell. It's not like a true hard shell, as it does still flex. The goal of that is so you can slide on in an impact or slide along the ground in a crash.
They'll do two different things really. One is sliding. So when you land on your knee, it'll allow you to slide over more surfaces easily. Two, this will be enough to help disperse the forces from when you fall on a sharp or pointier rock. It'll help spread that force out.
This one's, the Project knee pad just to me seems so unique because it is flexible and pedal friendly, but basically close to downhill, protection level, right?
Yeah. We won an award for this at Eurobike for design and innovation. This is the only pad on the market that has this compression type sleeve. We actually designed the compression to compress in different directions in different areas to give you that nice positive fit and feel and give a little bit of muscle support even. We do our strapping system where it wraps around with more even pressure so you can get a nice tight fit. Pink Bike actually did a review on this a little while back, and this came out as their #1 pick in that.
Something that really strikes me with a bunch of the 790P pads is just how high that upper cuff is. So really going to avoid any kind of gap between your shorts that might look weird, but also giving you just the security of keeping that thing up. It's going to slide down less because of how tall it is, right?
Yeah, it gets up to where your leg is more consistent in diameter.
And then it just wants to slip down.
Yeah, once
right?
you lose a little bit, it's almost channels it down.
Sweet. So there's a whole bunch of knee pads in the line. I know like the Sam Hills and Sam Hill Lights are super popular as well, but we brought these out as they're kind of the newest and unique pieces. This knee shin combo. Some other brands stopped making these, but there sure are a lot of flat pedal riders out there and a lot of newer riders that for sure could benefit from some shin protection.
The nice thing about that pad too, if you look at the back of it and even the bottom of the sleeve, it's very vented. It's a lot of mesh, so it is something where you can go out and trail ride in.
Yeah, basically this is all mesh here. Not sure if that shows up on the video, but you can see through it fairly easily. Yeah. But it's not, it still seems pretty durable, like it's kind of a harder mesh, so it'll hold up.
Yep. And they work great under pants. They're nice and slim. I actually really like them for bike park riding.
And we briefly showed this one, but I just wanted to bring this out again. We have one more technology included in this helmet, the cone head.
Yeah, it's a dual density EPS. It allows it to absorb impacts better. Also allows you to design the helmet with a thinner shell.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, all throughout it really just looks thinner to me. So you're kind of keeping the mass and the thickness as low as possible with the use of the two different density foams.
Yeah.
Really good looking helmet too because it is so small. It doesn't look like a big head floating around out on the trail. But yeah, super nice helmet here with the M2, right?
The M2, with the BOA.
Oh yeah, we've got a
system too.
BOA fit,
really nice for fine adjustment.
Absolutely, and one thing that strikes me is this really floats around, so it's going to follow the contour of your head super well. Another kind of, I think, pretty unique piece out on the market.
Yeah.
But all right. Hopefully you've learned a little bit from Jason's explanation of the technologies and the design philosophies that have gone into these products. I think it was a really interesting conversation for me. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you have any interest in 7IDB products, make sure you ask at your local bike shop and tell them BTI sent you.